Arguably Cedar Point's best event of the year is Winter Chill Out. This event took place about a week ago and some exciting things were announced. Of course, the running joke of Tony's log flume was still present, but what wasn't present and is now gone forever is Forbidden Frontier. Removing this troubled land leaves quite a lot of space and room for expansion, and of course has opened the table for speculation from enthusiasts. Here are my predictions for Forbidden Frontier's replacement, with new rides and how it can potentially tie in to the brand new Top Thrill Dragster. Let me clarify, this is all just speculation. I know nothing about any future projects, but there are possibilities for new coasters which I need to discuss. Let's quickly talk about the previous attractions of Adventure Island and the space available. Adventure Island in the last decade was occupied by 3 attractions. The first 2 were Dinosaurs Alive and Shoot the Rapids. Dinosaurs Alive was a kids attraction that had winding paths around the perimeter of the island. These paths house animatronic dinosaurs. At one point, most to all of Cedar Fair parks had these, but now they have all since been removed. Shoot the Rapids was an intimate water ride with 2 large drops. However, like most intimate at Cedar Point, it was a mechanical disaster and had an accident in which one of the boats flipped over. All of this added up to a failure and the ride closed after just 5 seasons. The last and main topic of this video was Forbidden Frontier. Forbidden Frontier opened in 2019 and was a nice break from the large attractions and instead housed a variety of actors, play areas, relaxing chairs, and a restaurant and some water effects. In addition to this, the actors playing the roles of 2 different clans have a variety of tasks for the guests to complete. Of course, this was all optional and the guests could just wander and explore. The area was very nice, but Tony Clark announced this year that it would close due to lack of foot traffic. So a huge amount of space now sits there. However, some of this space is being used still. The middle section and turnaround of Millennium Force sit right over the main section of Forbidden Frontier. The side section with the rope boat still has space available though. Also, the new Snake River Expedition boat ride wraps around the island, and this ride has animatronics and actor huts, which if anything is built, it may take away or have to relocate some of these ride events. Also, if any new coaster or attraction needs to go off of the island, it'd be very difficult, as on all sides the island is surrounded by Iron Dragon, Dragster, Planet Snoopy, Mine Ride, Snake River Falls, and the Frontier Trail. But there is plenty of space in the island for a compact coaster and an area for rides in the other section, so let's jump into the predictions. Let's start by predicting coasters that would be able to fit in the section where the rope boats were. Don't forget that it is also possible for a ride to dive under or over sections of Millennium Force. Most of Millennium Force in this area is pretty low to the ground, but the 2 overbanks are high off the ground, high enough for a coaster to pass under. There are a couple of ideas I have for this section of the park. My first prediction is a Gravity Group wooden coaster. I personally think that this prediction is not very likely because I doubt Cedar Point would think of adding a family coaster after Wild Mouse unless Dragster has really unique elements. However, Cedar Point needs a good wooden coaster, and the only fitting area in my opinion for a Woody would be the back half of the park. The old Frontier style theming makes it very fitting for an antique looking wooden coaster to fit there. Also, unlike the bigger coaster predictions, this ride can fit in 2 spots. Of course, this ride could fit in the large plot of land near the back of Cedar Creek Mine Ride, but it could also fit by the perimeter of the island near Iron Dragon's layout and Rougarou's ending. This would be a cool visual off of Snake River Expedition without taking away from the layout too much. And because of the more wooded section of this area of the park, it would definitely fit the wooden theme much better. My next prediction is the Gerstlauer Infinity Coaster. However, I also think that this common prediction isn't really a good fit. This is because of 2 reasons. One, with the new Dragster right next door to the island, having an infinity coaster with a steep drop really would make no sense. Also, does Cedar Point really need an infinity coaster? Yes, it's beyond vertical, but there are so many drops in the park with 90-degree straight down angles. The only draw for Cedar Point to build an infinity coaster would be the inversion count. Cedar Point's most is 6, but again, rides aren't really about inversions anymore. I would be surprised if Cedar Point went with this model. One plus about this prediction, however, is the space. These coasters are very compact, which would fit the area well. My last prediction, and the most likely prediction, is a GCI wooden coaster. Once again, the GCI Woody would fit great in this plot of land. Imagine the station behind Millennium Force where the restaurant is currently. Then the lift goes under Millennium Force's main camelback and over the smaller turn into the main section. When the coaster returns, it heads over the smaller Millennium Force turn and under the main hill. This would make for optimal spacing, and actually this area of land is about 86,000 square feet. The area of land American Thunder takes up at Six Flags St. Louis, which is a pretty compact GCI, is about 61,000. So a compact GCI could fit comfortably into this wooded setting. Now let's talk about the theming opportunities. There are some options here. One of them that I was thinking was a space theme. This will make more sense when we talk about Dragster, but that's coming up in a minute. A space theme would fit especially well with the Infinity Coaster. A lot of Cedar Fair parks nowadays have a unique theming area in addition to the traditional Frontier section. Carowinds is going to have Aeronautica Landing, Kings Dominion has Jungle Expedition, and Kings Island has what would be the closest resemblance to this, Area 72. A space-themed section would work well on the island because it would be secluded from the rest of the park. And with Millennium flying overhead as some rocket or fast space travel-themed coaster, it would work great. However, other than that, I feel Cedar Point, with the close distance to Frontier Town, Frontier Trail, and Snake River Expedition, would stick with the Frontier theme. Frontier Town is by far the busiest section of the park, and is actually one of the smaller sections. If they expanded the Frontier section out onto the island, it would work great with the surrounding rides. The wooden coasters would also be fantastic for a Frontier-style section. Finally, the flat rides would make perfect sense. In my opinion, Cedar Point's biggest need in the flat ride department is a good spinning flat ride. I'm not an expert on flat rides, but something like a new Zamperla Nebulas or something like Soul Spin at Kings Island would be a good fit. Even a bigger one of these top spin type flat rides like the new Tundra Twister would fit phenomenally in the section inside Millennium Force's Helix, where the playground is now. Being on Millennium Force circling such a big spinning flat ride like that would look great. Also, there are Western Frontier themes that would fit spinning flat rides, like Tumbleweed or Lasso, that would work great. The Frontier section makes sense for this area of the park. One last note, Cedar Point could connect the island into more places. The only entrance to the island right now is over by Professor Dilbert's Frontier Fling. A bridge could connect this up with the Dragster area over Snake River Expedition, and even if they want to do more work, they could make a path connecting this by Mine Ride's exit ramp. This would be right behind the Skyhawk lockers, in between Skyhawk and Mine Ride, stretching over the boats and down by the possible new coaster. Finally, let's talk about Dragster. Dragster is making some good progress, but something interesting is that even the brake run track is removed, which makes me think of an immediate layout extension. If Dragster turned immediately around onto the top hat, what's right behind it? Adventure Island. Dragster could easily stretch over and have an extended portion on the island, with the queue possibly stretching over to the island so it isn't located next to the ending portion. This would make the space theme much more sense. A new formula for thrills. Does this mean formula racing, or possibly a more likely option, math and science formulas? This would further push the space-themed section, and for those saying Dragster wouldn't fit, it's easy to put track pieces above Millennium Force and have Dragster dive around the ride. That massive helix of Millennium Force could be great for a Dragster dive loop, with the ride rising above and then diving below the same portion of the track heading back to the station. The possibilities are endless, but we will have to wait and see what happens. Forbidden Frontier will most likely be Cedar Point's next big expansion part, as it gets rid of the landlocked problem. The theming, rides, and even Dragster possibilities are endless. I'm very excited to see the outcome of this next project, and if Dragster does reach over the island with an extended layout, it might be confirmed that Adventure Island will be their next project. Thank you so much for watching this prediction video. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Comment what you think of this video, and have a great rest of your day.